Okay, guys, we're going to be getting the new CPI inflation data report for the United States. And this is going to be really big here because this is going to determine whether the Fed is and Jerome Powell is going to keep raising interest rates or pause this here on Americans. As remember, the economy and Americans are really feeling the pinch here on interest rates, and they're really pounding us here with the stock market feeling a little bit optimistic today, thinking that this inflation report's going to be good. I don't know. I'm not so sure because the Fed and Jerome Powell. I think that they might keep twisting the vice here on Americans with interest rates. Here you can see here ahead of the March inflation report. Remember, we always get the inflation report after the previous month ends. This comes here already as the most recent survey shows that 70% of Americans are feeling financially stressed. 70%. Yeah, just think about that. Some 70% of Americans admit to being stressed about their personal finance these days, and a majority, 52% of US adults, said their financial stress has increased since before the C-19 pandemic began in March of 2020, according to a new CNBC Your Money Financial Confidence Survey. Wow. I honestly think this might be an all-time high. 70% of Americans feeling financially stressed here. And now, with this new CPI inflation data report set to come out, if the Fed sees basically anything wrong with it and they go to raise interest rates here yet again, we just kind of seeing a double whammy or a triple whammy here yet again. Remember, the Fed has already raised interest rates, I think, 9 times here in a little bit over the past 12 months. And think about that, it's pretty much a record here for the United States. And we're already seeing interest rates here, like in mortgages, go from under 3% to about 7%. And that I'll show you this here. I posted this here the other day. What a difference this makes. If you secured a 30-year fixed mortgage on a $600,000 home at a 2.6% interest rate about 2 years ago in 2021, you wanted to buy a home now, you have the same monthly mortgage payment as someone who just bought a $392,000 home at today's 6.2% interest rates. And I just looked them up here yesterday. The average mortgage rates now are 7%. 7%. So this is based on a 6.2% interest rate, which you really can't get on a 30-year mortgage now. So remember that what a $600,000 home you could have bought 2 years ago and have the same monthly payment is now the same payment on a $392,000 home if you could get a 6.2% mortgage rate. And you can't now. Now the mortgage rates on the average for every single state, and they vary a little bit per state, is about 7%. So now you're probably looking at like a $350,000 home, somewhere in that range, is the monthly payment of what you could have got for a $600,000 home just 2 years ago. This shows you the impact on how much interest rates matter. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling. And this is just for mortgages. This affects everything here. Yeah, so if you think a 7% interest rate is bad on a mortgage on a house, remember that's a secured interest rate because the house kind of is there. If you default, they can sell the house. What is the average credit card interest rate based on this week? Remember that we've seen interest rates go up here time and time again here. Every time they raise interest rates, the credit card companies go and raise your rates as well. Well, I just seen this article and it's pretty mind-boggling here. Let me show you. The average credit card interest rate is now 24.2%. 24, we'll say 24%. Or maybe if we round this, we'll say 25% just for a nice round number. according to Forbes Advisor Weekly Credit Card Rates Report. The Federal Reserve keeps tab on the average interest rate that U.S. consumers pay for a variety of different financial products, credit cards included. Now, let me show you this here. Just in February alone, the average credit card interest rate in the US was 20.92%, according to the Federal Reserve. So you can see how much the credit card interest rates have gone up just since February. Just since February, we're at 24.2%. Now they're, just 2 months ago, they were 20.9. So we've gone up. I mean, we basically have gone up from 21% to 24.2%. That's what, like 3.2% here in a couple months? I mean, that's astounding, right? And in the easiest way to kind of think about this is APR, annual percentage rate. This means that if you have a 10,000, just in the kind of easiest way to think about this, if you have a $10,000 credit card balance and you have a 25% interest rate, you're paying about 25% of the balance every single year in interest. So you have a $10,000 balance, you're paying 25% of that, $2,500 in interest every single year, whether you're making the minimum payments or not, you're paying $2,500 in interest. Okay, so think about that every year. So that means in 4 years, if you don't pay off the card completely, you've essentially paid $10,000 just in interest over 4 years, 25% per year, and you still owe them the principal. You still owe them the balance. That's just the interest part. That's why credit cards are so bad. So bad. Obviously, a lot worse than a mortgage, which at 7%, which is still twice as bad as when they were at 3.5%, or less than 3%. You can see the huge, massive difference there. Okay. But the reason credit cards are so high is because they're unsecured. If people file bankruptcy, there's little recourse for the lien holders, in this case, the credit card companies. They can't go and claw back a home in this case. When there's a home or a car loan, there's the banks can go and secure their investment. Okay, they can go and repo the car or repo the home and sell it. Okay, that's why the loans are so much lower. Okay, but this is something to be concerned about if you're an average everyday American, because you need to pay attention to this. Go and look at your statements after this video, and if you have your statements from a year ago, see what they were, see how much they've gone up, and if you're in the position to start paying down your balances, even a little bit at a time. You can try the debt snowball, which is kind of a favorite of some of our viewers since I've been talking about it occasionally over the last year. Pay down the lowest balance cards first. You can also pay off the highest interest rate cards first, but the debt snowball, what it does is that if you have a card which is, say, a couple $100 in balance, pay that off in the next couple months, right? And then you won't have that payment anymore. Okay, that'll be now a zero balance. Just put the card away in a safe or cut it up if you want to, do whatever you want with it. But now it has a zero balance. Okay, so don't use it. Okay, or if you do use it, set it to auto pay and just take it out of your checking account. So if you do use it, it's going to pay itself off. You know that it's going to pay itself off. It'll come out of your checking account. Make sure you have enough money in there. Okay, obviously you have to, be aware of what you're doing. This is not really financial advice. I don't know your own personal situation, but this is something you could try. Okay. But once you pay off that lower balance credit card, okay, then you don't have that payment anymore if you're not using it. Okay. Then you could take that payment that you were using every month, so let's just say it was $50 a month, and you could apply that payment to your next lowest balance card. So now your second lowest balance card, you're making your payments on that one and the additional $50 a month. So now you're making two payments, towards the second lowest balance one. And if you could pay off that one within a few months, now you have two cards paid off. And then you can take both of those payments and apply them to the third lowest balance one. Okay, so now you can see that third lowest balance one you'll be making triple payments on. Okay, so that's why it's kind of a fan favorite to do that, because you make quick progress towards paying off cards and not necessarily paying attention to the interest rate. I get that paying attention to the interest rate might be a little bit more beneficial, but if you have a card with, say, $6,000 of balance, but it's a higher interest rate, it's going to take you a long time to pay that off. But if you focus on the cards with the lowest balance, you can pay them off quickly or quicker and see progress. Literally within a couple months, you'll be like, all right, I paid off that card. It's done. You made the progress. You feel that euphoria of a sense of accomplishment. And then you could just tuck that card away. Don't really go and close the card unless you don't have any willpower to use it again. Because if you close the card, your credit score will take a hit. Okay, because that's kind of one of the things about credit card, scores, is that they take account how long you've had credit lines. So if you go and close a credit line, your credit score will get lowered. Okay, so just kind of keep a little bit of willpower. Just put the card away. Don't use it. If you do use it, just pay it off in full every month. Okay, you actually won't have any interest at all if you pay the card off completely in full every month. And you actually get rewards if your card has any type of reward, cash back or airline miles or anything. I personally prefer the cash back ones, because airline miles and stuff like that's just way too hard to use. You have to accumulate a whole bunch of stuff. If you just get cash back from your card, or it applies it towards a statement, those are the best ones. And you do not need to keep a balance or anything to do anything like that. There's a misconception with some people that you have to keep a balance or not pay it fully off or anything like that. That's not true in any way, shape, or form. You can set the bill to completely pay off. You can set it on auto pay to pay the balance off in full, even. That's the best way to do it. You just have to keep enough money in your checking account to make sure you don't overdraft or something like that. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts here on this. But a lot of people aren't quite aware of credit card interest rates have been going up and up and up almost every couple of months, which is why we have to pay attention to what the Fed is doing, these CPI reports. And remember, credit card interests are going up, mortgage interests are going up, personal loan interests are going up, car loans interests are going up. Whether you're buying a new car, a used car, pretty much anything, interest rates going up. But if you do have money in the bank, in a savings accounts or something like that, those are actually paying a pretty good amount now. So if you go and put it in a bank money market, you can actually get like 4 or 5% now in some of them. If you go to like a Vanguard money market account, is a good place. So those are paying like almost 5% now. Good place there, and you don't even have to lock your money up there. So there is a little bit of a fine line, or a good thing there for some people. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here on what happens here. So make sure you're subscribed down below to our YouTube channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss out on new videos that come out here every day on a daily basis at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with everything going on here in our country. And here's some videos you should watch next. The U.S. government is banning some of your household items. You can click here to see that video. And what House Speaker Kevin McCarthy just did is going to be bad news for Americans. You can click here to see why. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.